let me tell you about one of the strangest stories to ever come out of New Orleans. And the one thing that makes this one different is that it didn't start as legend. It started as history. Welcome back, gang. I'm Cube of Lore to be exact. This is Forbidden Lore Season 2, Vampires. If you don't have time to watch this video, just say, follow, just come back later. So we don't got time. Y'all know I hate a long intro. So it's time for story time. Back in the 1700s, Louisiana was still a French colony, and there was a serious problem. There weren't enough women. It was literally a French sausage fest. So the French government came up with this grand idea, which they called a solution. They had to make sure there was coochie in Louisiana. Forget all the other priorities. This was problem number one to them. They began sending women, young women at that, across the ocean to New Orleans to marry men that's already living there and to help build a colony. I thought this was crazy because I think the men that was in the colony, no women didn't want them in France. It couldn't have. Why did they come with their wife already? These were single men that was probably at the bottom of the barrel. Probably a bunch of ones and two with no royal lineage, not even a family crest. Because the French government weren't sending random women. They sent some orphans, some girls that were very poor, and they were all sent against their will. Every single one of them, which I thought was definitely interesting. So these men couldn't be of men of nobility, you feel me? But of course, the French didn't care. Their only goal was to populate and build. All the women carried the same thing, small wooden chests, all the way from France to New Orleans. I heard the French called them casquettes. They were just small luggage boxes at the time. Nothing unusual, but over time, the people of New Orleans stopped calling them that. They started calling them caskets. Now, maybe that's a misunderstanding because, you know, the language barrier at the time. Or maybe it isn't. Because not long after those ships arrived with those girls, something changed in the city. People started getting sick, and not normal sick, you know, like a little flu or a little cough, a little sneeze. We're talking about people that were found weak, pale. Some people were barely able to stand. Now keep in mind, gang, this is the 1700s. So there's no real medical understanding. There's no real physician. They were all just trying to figure it out. So people started talking. Whispers started spreading through the street of New Orleans that something came over with those ships, just not those girls. Something came with them. Now this is where the church gets involved. As usual, right? In every story, church gets involved, right? Girls were taken to Ursuline Convent, and at first, it doesn't seem strange at all. It makes a lot of sense to people. That's where many of them would stay and live before marriage. So if you were like a single girl during this time, you weren't allowed to, like, you know, live on the street. So you would stay here until I guess you could find a husband. This is backwards, but okay, all right. So according to legend, gang, something wasn't right. The nuns began noticing changes, strange behavior, unexplained activity at night, things they couldn't explain, and eventually, they came to a decision that confuses people to this day. They sealed the attic. Yup, the top attic, they sealed the whole thing. Windows and doors. Bolted it and nailed it shut. And it is said the nails were blessed by the Pope himself. So it was interesting to hear that he led this charge all the way in France. He told the nuns to lock some random girls up there. They had to be vampire, gang. They had to be vampires. And here's the part that makes this story different from most legends. You can still see it. The building still stands in New Orleans, and those windows in the attic, they remain closed for centuries. They're still bolted shut. People have said they have seen the windows open sometimes. They have seen a pair of eyes looking at them through the windows. Pretty creepy. No one uses that space. No one goes to that floor to this day. No one actually really explained why. So now think about it for a second. In a city full of history, renovations and changes, why keep one part of the building sealed? Because I believe the church is a school now or something like that. Y'all let me know in the comments. But it's still sealed? Interesting. For hundreds of years at that? This is shit, 1970, 1800, 1900, 2000. Man, at least over 400 years, right? But why not just knock the whole building down and start over? And interesting, because Katrina couldn't even knock it down, so very, very interesting. Very interesting building for sure. What were they trying to keep inside of there? Or maybe the better question is, what were they trying to keep from getting out? Because not all them girls found husbands. So I'm like, where did they go? Brought all them records, what happened to them? Some stories say they became ladies of the night, but that wouldn't make sense. They lived here with the nuns. Nuns got them on a curfew. Can't be out all night, especially as an unmarried woman. So how could they be hoes? They don't know nothing about hoes. I'm just saying, I'm just being logical. Now, I'm not saying the Casket Girls were vampires, but hypothetically, if something did happen on that journey across the ocean, it came with them for sure. And the church saw it firsthand. Hey, they know exactly what's going on. That would explain why they didn't try to fix it up. Nobody really tried to ever study it. They didn't try to understand it, just locked it away and never to be touched again. Which makes you wonder if those windows were sealed for a reason. What happened if they're open? No, hypothetically, y'all. I'm not saying nobody go do it or nobody go try. But what happened if somebody wants to end up going up there and they bust open all those windows wide open? I'm just curious. What kind of wood is that? That's good wood that stay up there that long. But I'm definitely on to y'all, just letting you know. Pass that along to whoever you gotta pass it to. If y'all get what I'm saying. All right, before my video gets too long, thank you guys. I appreciate you for being here. Let me know if y'all want a part 2. There's a lot about this story. I'll be posting it under the first person who comments we need part 2. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. My community, let me know what y'all think in the comments. I'd love to pick y'all brain on this subject. And if you're new here, don't forget to engage from the bottom up. You must repost, save, comment, like. Don't forget to follow me. Watch this video. You enjoyed it. You still didn't follow me? That's wild. Don't forget to sub up my channels on YouTube, Cube of Lore and Qbox, as well as I do daily stream on Twitch, so follow up, same name, Qbox. Don't forget to put my notifications on. I know they be shadow banning me sometimes. My book Ancestral Shadows drops this summer. If you like content like, I'll have a lot more of this for you guys. I love y'all. I appreciate you. Call me back and let me know what y'all think. All right, peace. Asking you shall receive. Sometimes closed mouths don't get fed. Here's part 2 on New Orleans' first vampire, the Casket Girl. So if you missed part 1, if I was you, I would go back and watch, because I'm gonna give a recap. This is gonna be a quick recap. So the Casket Girls was actually a European program to better the life of the French people, supposedly. And it was backed up by King Louis of France. I don't think he started the program, but he definitely funded it. And let me tell you how. He sent women to Mississippi, Mobile, all over Louisiana, not just New Orleans. He was trying to dominate. These girls think they're coming to America for better life, to get married, have a family, children. And that wasn't the case at all. King Louis knew what he was doing. That was never going to happen. So first and foremost, King Louis promised these men he would pay them a dowry. Back in the day, in Europe, most wealthy families done this. None of these people were wealthy, so I was just confused of why he was sending them a dowry. If you don't know what a dowry is, it's basically payment. Payment to the man. So it could be jewels, it could be money, it could be land. If you watch Bridgerton, they explain it really well on there. Usually, it's wealthy families that want their daughters to stay in a wealthy family. Like a class system. But what confused me about this whole Casket Girl story, the men in Louisiana was not wealthy, and the French girls coming over were not wealthy either. So it seemed like King Louis trying to just sweeten the pot. Y'all was finesse. Y'all was all scam. Y'all, most of these women were orphans and ladies of the night, if you know what I mean. H-E-A-U-X. Hoes. This wasn't France's cream of the crop of women. They were troubled for sure. King Louis purposely didn't send the French baddies. And my confusion was, if you're sending these women to get married and find husbands, they never seen each other, can they be a little attractive? But seemingly they wasn't. I feel like King Louis was trying to set everybody up, because the men, the same way, they were the bottom of the shelf men. They weren't successful, they weren't wealthy, they weren't really smart, handsome, nothing. So I'm over here like, King Louis, why are you setting these people up, bro? This is a setup, gang. Because out of this, how do y'all expect a thriving community? Like, huh? It makes sense of why y'all from Louisiana is a little off. Our ancestors been off. So this was a 6-month journey, gang. The women had to stay at the bottom of the ship. They couldn't come up unless they about to do with some of the demonic men on that ship. Or worse, use your imagination. You can only go to the top for certain things. So imagine no sun for 6 months? Nah, that's diabolical. That's diabolical, gang. Her eyes was bloodshot, blisters all over their skin. Allegedly, they said it could have been TB, tuberculosis. But I'm like, how would they even know? Who was your physician? They just be making up stuff. Now scurvy, I can see it being scurvy though. I don't know. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. All right, when they all got there, they all had their caskets. Caskets was supposed to have their belongings, and they traveled with them everywhere. The word in the street, they was heavy. So when they got there, all the men were unattractive to them. Oh, vice versa. That's how the men felt about the women. Like King Louis, this is what you guys sent us? Some of them refused to marry each other. It was a waste of time. At least the women had an excuse. They were on the boat for 6 months with predators just trying to make it. And I know nobody didn't have a good bath or shower those whole 6 months. In the 1700s, Europeans was not showering. It wasn't taking baths. It wasn't cleaning themselves properly. I'm not about to argue with y'all either. They were dirty, dirty, dirty people, especially the men. But what was the excuse for the men? They had 6 months to prepare themselves before these women got here. And it just went back to my original thought. King Louis set everybody up. He sent all the slow dudes that y'all would usually avoid, the creeps, the abusers. He had to. Probably sent the criminals. He probably took them right out of jail and put them on that boat and sent them to Louisiana. Because why not keep these people in your country? Like, what's going on? So boom, some of them stayed single. They didn't have a man. Some of them men didn't have wives. So the Ursuline nuns stepped in and took them in. They were under the command of King Louis as well. Just keep that in mind. So the first batch that came to like Mobile, like I told you guys, you know, they sent them all over Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana. So the first batch that got married, they were being treated terrible, like dog, or even worse. They were literally in the worst marriages of their life. Some saw that and they rather just stay with the nuns and stay single. And some were even selling their bodies. Then rumors started, and these women were evil. They were vampires because anytime the sun would be out, it wouldn't be outside. The sun would irritate their skin and cause blisters, which again may have came from that, 6-month trip. So they stayed and they, turned up and lived their life still. King ain't like what they had going on. King Louis was like, y'all doing too much. I didn't send y'all for all of that. He said, bring y'all asses back home. Back to France you go. So at this point, the nun already had locked all the women on the 3rd floor. Yes, up there. And when I mean locked, there's no enter, there's no exit. Like bolted and nailed shut. They even had the Pope bless the nail. Yeah, it's crazy, right? So I have no idea why they were trying to keep these young women up there. They never really said. Yeah, it's still part of history. And again, they always carried their caskets around. And they're usually super heavy. But they don't allow people to look in them. I guess allegedly they had their things, their belongings. These women really came with nothing as well. So I was kind of confused what's in there. So boom, one of the Ursuline nuns head upstairs and head up there to tell them like, yo, y'all gotta head back home. Au revoir. It's on me. It is time to go back to Fred. So she unlocked everything, took the bolts off, went up there, and everybody was gone. Gone. Not one girl in there. Mind you, there's no way to escape. So where'd they go? The only thing they left was their cassettes, and those was empty. But everybody was confused because how empty? But then people knew they were heavy every time those girls moved with them. So I'm over here like, Rebecca Michelson, is that you? Is that you? Rebecca! All right, gang, come back for part 3 so I could tell y'all what happened in 1978. 2 paranormal investigators went in there and didn't make it back out. I love y'all. I appreciate you. I'm Cube of Lore to be exact. This is Forbidden Lore Season 2, Vampire. Don't forget to let me know what y'all think in the comments, because you're right. This is definitely an interesting story. Welcome back, gang. Here's part 3 on the Casket Girl, America's first vampire story. So if you didn't watch part 1 and part 2, I recommend you just click this comment and then start back at part 1. Part 2 is already up. This is my final part. So I told you guys all about the Casket Girl, how the people allegedly said they had tuberculosis and scurvy. And everything would make sense if some things didn't add up. So the Casket Girls, they arrived in the 1700s, but in 1978, 2 paranormal investigators decided to go up there to that 3rd floor. I'm assuming they snuck in because to this day it's off limit. No one is allowed up there. So they really just wanted to get some more information, and they were found dead. Yes, unalive, drained of their blood, ravaged, claw mark, allegedly. So I'm over here confused, like, wait, what's going on? Because I thought they left, but maybe they didn't. We know the roar of a secret passage and a secret door, so maybe there is one in that building. I don't know, y'all. I'm just trying to come up with some reasoning to this crazy story. I feel like Americans is the only people that let an unsolved mystery or unsolved crime just go by. No, we need to know what's going on, y'all. There's also another theory that me and my supporters have. Maybe another nun was helping them this whole time. Maybe she helped them escape, or maybe she's the one that has the secret door. I'm sure all the nuns lived there, so her quarters couldn't be far away. But I don't know. This is the craziest story again. Because why anybody, I don't care if you're the king or not, but why are you the king of France? And whoever is in, Louisiana and New Orleans at the time, why would y'all let this happen to women? Locked in a room? Like they Rapunzel? Like what's going on? It wasn't only locked, it was bolted. Why would they need to go get nails blessed by the Pope unless they really thought these women were otherworldly? I don't know what they were. I don't know if they were a vampire or not. I definitely think they were some kind of entity. Because to this day, people walk by Ursuline and they say they feel weird energy. There's even some people look up and they see somebody in the blind, see somebody walking fast past the window, or literally eyeballs peeking through. That's weird. And the place is still sealed up to this day. So also, none of the natural disaster, including Hurricane Katrina, destroyed that place. It's still intact. I'm like, all of this happened in Louisiana, and y'all still have this place locked up and boarded. Why not sell it? Why not open up something new? They destroy everything and rebuild something else in its place. So why not this time? Another point, them caskets were empty, but when they carried them, it was said that those caskets were always heavy, way heavier than the women. So I'm like, maybe they had vampires inside. Maybe they the ones that brought the vampire, because nobody could look through them. I also heard the dowry was in there. But what king is putting jewels, gold, any form of monetary value? Why would he put that in their casket and have them walking around? Mind you, the women and men are both bottom of the barrel. The French women and men they have in New Orleans was nobody they wanted to keep in France. So why would you give them these huge dowries? I don't believe it. No, I think he just said that. So the men were like, yeah, bring them. Bring the women. Bring me my new wife. It was probably, accepting them for free. Been a little suspicious. So maybe they had vampires in there. These women are familiar. Basically servants to vampires. It would make sense. You're on a boat for 6 months. This is the vampire's feeding source right here. You don't need nothing more. But these were really supposed to be modern day suitcase that got turned into something else. I also think it's wild by the time the king wanted them back home to France, which he know that was about to take another 6 months. But it was clear they wasn't going. They wasn't going for it. They completely disappeared. So that's leading me to understand they knew of this plan. They knew the king would want them back. New Orleans is very small. Louisiana is small in general. That's crazy. Nobody saw multiple women that look pale, skinny, sick. No one ran into them. No one saw that. Nah, there's more to this story, gang. We just don't know all of it. I definitely think they had some assistance. Now, I just think it's funny. Their king is talking about population was dying down. That's why they sent them. I had no business in Louisiana. I want to ask y'all to populate. And the funny part, that's what they end up doing. These Frenchmen started breeding indigenous and black women, birthed a bunch of Creole and Cajun babies. Here we are talking about one of the creepiest states in America. And by the way, I also heard Ursuline Convent, the ladies stay. I believe it's a school now. It wasn't just a convent, gang. It's still not. So y'all be careful. I see y'all going to all them tours. Yeah, I see y'all. Just be careful. I already told y'all. Hidden rooms and passageways. It's an old building. All them old buildings are built like that. Don't be naive. Hypothetically, somebody or something was protecting these girls. Them people got hunting dogs and all. There's no way y'all can escape. They never find you. If that's the case, black people went through slavery. Could have escaped easily. So I'm assuming something supernatural happened to these ladies. But the attic is sealed to this day. We may never know, gang. I'm Cube of Lore. This is Forbidden Lore Season 2. Vampire. If you like content like you want to stay on this side of the algorithm, don't forget to engage from the bottom. You already know, repost, save, comment, and like. Don't forget to put my notifications on. Post daily. If you're seeing this from YouTube, make sure you subscribe. Cube of Lore is all my supernatural, creepy, and cryptic content, and my Cube Oxley page. It's with fun, vibes, my lives, mukbangs, real great content. And don't forget, gang, it's only for entertainment purposes. All allegedly, hypothetically speaking. I don't know these girls and I don't know nothing about them. All right, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. This story really takes me for a loop every time. I don't like unsolved cases and mysteries. I'm sorry. Y'all know me by now. All right, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. If you watching this video, you new here, you didn't follow me, what's your problem? You hate me? Did you hate this story? I'm confused. Go ahead and press that follow button. Like, what's going on? And don't forget, again, Ancestral Shadow, my book, be out this summer. And if you like vampire lore, trust me, there's a whole vampire family in my book that will possibly answer a lot of questions you guys have. All right, let me know what y'all think was going on with these girls. And yeah, just call me back.